Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nick unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
Good morning, Coxie.
Good morning, Warwick.
Everyone's just going, whoa, what's going on with the stereo today or the phone, which is where most people listen to this.
On the phone, do they? That's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. So here you go, listeners. We can see where you're listening to us from.
I didn't know that.
Freaky. So our fancy hosting thing that holds all these episodes for us, amazingly, can actually see where you're listening to us from. So most of our listeners are listening on mobile.
Can we see where they live?
Yes, we can.
We should do
not specific address, of course.
I
thought I'd just clear that up.
Spot episodes where we just turn up on your doorstep with a microphone. Hello, how are you? We know that you listen to the Tradies in Business podcast.
That would be pretty freaky.
I would think it would be hilarious.
But it shows us which city, and that'll be based on where the internet server, I guess, is pushing it from. But
so for anyone with Telstra, they're actually listening from the Philippines.
Well, they're not, because all that's shut down.
Well, that's true too.
But no, if I have a look here, devices, it doesn't give me percentages, but I reckon that looks like about 75% of people listen on their phone. And
can we tell whether it's via iTunes or Spotify?
Yes, we can. So probably 70% is via the podcasts for iOS podcast app.
I don't even know what that is. Clearly, I don't have an Apple device.
Yeah. Spotify is about 10%. Another 10% on the Apple Watch. Nobody listens on Google Podcasts.
I didn't even know Google had a podcasting thing.
They do, but you can't get on it because they're a pack of pricks and make it really hard. Sorry, Google. We love you, Google. But yeah, most people, like by a country mile, are listening on the Apple Podcast app on their iPhones.
Well, that's very interesting. Hello, iPhone users. I am not one of you.
G'day. And we actually have, interestingly enough, 3% of our listens in the last month came from Las Vegas.
I wonder if we've got a few, I don't know, tradies that have travelled. Why else would somebody in Las Vegas listen to us? They're stuck over in Vegas?
Well, we have as many listens in Vegas as we do in Adelaide. So come on, Adelaide, pick up your game. What's going on there?
Adelaide, it's okay.
And Gold Coast, there you go. Gold Coast, Las Vegas and Adelaide all have the same proportion of listeners to the show.
But we have some really hardcore listeners from the GC. I don't understand that one at all.
Yeah. Well, they're hardcore, but there's not many of them, fortunately. Otherwise, that'd be just scary.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, it's fascinating to see where people are listening. And by and large, it's on mobile, which means you're probably listening to this going, guys, I've really got to finish this job off. Can you get to the point of this episode?
And that is the point of this episode.
Oh my gosh, did you just Chuck Norris?
I'm trying to. I'm thinking really hard. Can you hear my brain?
No, so part of looking at this data is keeping a track of how we're going with the podcast, where people are listening, and it does give you and I, Coxie, some insights into what is essentially part of our business.
Yes.
And so some of these numbers are interesting. Some of them are completely boring and seemingly pointless. But it's important to look at them anyway so we can spot any trends, good or bad. We can see our most popular episodes. And I suppose as a sneaky Chuck Norris, and it's a bit cheesy, if you're not doing the same in your trade business, then you're really missing an opportunity to stay on top of the fundamentals in your business and know what's going on from one week to the next, Coxie.
Test and measure, Warwick. Test and measure.
Test and measure what?
Everything.
every damn thing.
Everything with a big stick. I'm poking you in the chest and saying, what are you testing and measuring? I guarantee most of our listeners will say, not a lot. Not a lot. But knowledge is power.
It is, and that knowledge gives you the power to take action, Coxie.
Oh, action, my favourite A word.
What's your second favourite A word?
It's not an explicit episode.
Amaretto?
Yes, that'll do.
Because it goes in tiramisu. I learned years ago that tiramisu is the Aussie way of saying it.
How do
it's
you
actually? I believe it's tiramisu or something like that. I'll have to get the Italian thing. I'm learning French at the moment.
Oh, you're such an overachiever.
Bonjour. Anyway, so fundamentals in your business, listeners.
Well, hang on.
What are you doing about it? And Coxie, I think you have something you want to say.
I do. How did you guess? I wanted to say the fact that you're learning a language right now is something that many of our trade business owners have done with the whole Rona thing. We're currently panicking, or we were. We went into a deep panic and we're like, okay, what do we need to do? Where do we need to focus? What do we need to look at? What should I be testing and measuring? Did I test and measure? I didn't even know what it was. Now I do. I'm going to do it. But life's returning to some sense of normal, at least here on the mainland. Not so lucky for Warwick. Yeah. However, what I'm seeing overwhelmingly in the last 2 weeks is so many tradies are just dropping what they did pick up and start to look at because they got stuck into being busy again. Rather than being stuck into making some time to ensure that all of those fundamentals are in place for their business and they continue, they get stuck in the mindset of being busy and having to do the work. Busy. But busy won't help you in a month's time when the work's starting to drop off because you've forgotten about your advertising. And then you won't know how to advertise quickly to get the right kind of clients for you because you haven't done your client avatar and you haven't been testing and measuring where your leads are actually coming from in the first place. So all those fundamentals that you've actually taken some time to look at during this whole Rona shutdowny time, they're the most important things to continue to put in place in your business rather than getting complacent, forgetting what you're doing, and running forward to do the work with your normal busy.
You done?
Yep.
It is such a great point. And when we did our quick little episode plan, that makes us sound really professional, doesn't it?
We literally take 30 seconds to decide on a topic and off we go.
Well, that's a plan. And I think, see, this is a thing, Coxie. We probably take the mick out of ourselves a bit and say, oh, we do all this stuff unplanned. But I actually think that's a lie. And we're probably misrepresenting ourselves to our listeners. G'day, listeners. Thanks for tuning in again. Because we do plan our episodes.
We do.
Now, how many episodes have we done together, Coxie? Here's a test for you. Come on. What's the number?
Know. I don't have those stats in front of me, Warwick. 300-ish, 200-ish.
I don't know either.
That's
I was just hoping you did. Well, this is episode 116, but it gets complicated then because that's the official titled episodes, and that doesn't include the Fudge It Friday episodes, of which we're up to number 50. So that's 166 episodes. And then there's been a few little quickie bonus episodes in there. So you and I have done approaching 200 episodes together.
I'm disappointed that it's only 200.
And the show itself has been running now for coming up almost 400 episodes, I think.
Holy moly.
So we do plan our episodes. And the reason we can do it in a 10-second chat or a 20-second chat prior to hitting record is because we've been doing this for, is it coming up 2 years?
Yeah. Isn't that scary? You've been putting up with me for 2 years and vice versa.
Just let me flip my head back down because it just flipped open. But we've developed a level of proficiency at that, right? The same way that a cabinet maker, how many self-tapping screws has a cabinet maker driven into whiteboard in a 10-year career or a 5-year career?
Just a couple.
So you get really good at doing things without even thinking about it. And I think I think that's probably what happens with us with doing our episode plans. We plan our content each week, and this is why I want to sort of grab what Coxie brought up around testing and measuring and all these fundamentals in your business, listeners, that if you do them daily, weekly, monthly, consistently, repeatedly, you actually develop a level of unconscious competence where you get good at it and you don't have to think about it. You're competent, so you're good at it unconsciously. So you're good at it without even thinking about it. You're just driving screws and you don't have to think, oh, hang on, so this is a number 2 Phillips. Is this a number 2 Phillips? Yep, okay. Now that's a 25 mil. Is that the right length? You just pick up the screw and you drive it in because you know that's the right one because you've done it 53,000 times in the last 5 years. And that is probably, I want to like drop the hammer here, Coxie.
Can you do it gently?
Gently in a loving kind of hard way.
Yes.
Tradies and anybody actually, like tradie wives, who often sadly invalidate their worth because, oh, I'm just a mum, or I'm just mopping the floors, or I'm just getting the kids off to school every day and packing hubby's lunch and all that. Without all of those things happening, hubby doesn't have a trade to go and do.
No, he can't.
So, every member of the team is just as important as the other. But everybody in that sort of team just does all those things unconsciously and does them reasonably well. I know some days we feel like we don't do a very good job of the stuff that we're working on. We only mopped half the floor and then forgot about the bucket, and now it's cold and it's like, just tip it out and worry about it later. But take that ability that you've all got, listeners, to do stuff unconsciously and do it well, whether that's your trade as a cabinet maker, a landscaper, a glazier, a builder, plumber, electrician, tiler, doesn't matter, or a tradie wife or husband that's at home doing the data entry and the invoicing and the reconciliations and, paying the bills and picking the kids up on time and not leaving them standing at the school for 3 hours in the dark. You already do a whole bunch of stuff really well without thinking about it just because you've done it over and over. You made it a habit. And I want you to realize the opportunity, listeners, to make this business stuff a habit. Planning your episodes 10 seconds before you hit record. That's just a habit. And we do it, I think, reasonably well, Coxie, if I can be a little self-conceited there.
It's a bold comment.
Well, we get really good feedback from our listeners and, we do a reasonably good job. We wouldn't have a podcast running this long if we hadn't developed a level of proficiency. And that's where I think tradies get this wrong. They think that the skills they've got with a hammer or a screwdriver or whatever tool it is aren't transferable to business. And that is a big lie.
It is a big lie. And I just feel that because they are very good at what they do with their hands on the tools, they assume that the business stuff will be as easy to pick up. And it's not hard, but it can be different. Feels like a pineapple. Poor old pineapple.
It's different.
But it's different. And so therefore we tend to be able to walk away from it easier than we do the stuff with the tools, right? You're also good at what you do on the tools. That's why you're doing what you're doing on the tools, and you do have inquiries come in and you do get through the job and clients are satisfied. But imagine how much better you can be at what you do on the tools if you have all of these other essentials in place that you are continuing to develop, you're continuing to grow, you're continuing to look at and not let go of. Imagine how much better the result of what you're doing on the tools will be because you've driven the client expectations and you've delivered the outcome to make them satisfied. They were big wanky terms, sorry.
No, but it's great. And this is where scripts and all those things come in.
I know, and I think it's part of why people are hesitant to take on something different, a pineapple. It's because there are different pineapple-y shaped words that feel a bit funny, and I don't know if that's going to fit. I'm a tradie. Why would I want a script? You know what? Because you can deliver the same outcome every single time when you follow a script, and a script doesn't mean to say, tradie, hello, my name is John. Nice to meet you. Client. How are you today?
Well, that's how they start until we learn them. Like, how many of us, used some sort of a template on site or in the workshop to cut something or build something?
Well, it's the same as you're measuring. You measure something so you can cut it effectively, efficiently in the same spot.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, it's just a random collection of pieces of timber and you don't end up with a house.
No, you have a
It's just-
scrapyard.
It's just a house of sticks. I think this is a big. I'm calling bullshit on all of the. Oh, but I'm just not cut out for business, or I'm just not cut out for that, or that's not my skill set. Bullshit. The skill set is being able to follow a formula, follow a set of plans, follow a bloody mud map drawing of the landscaping garden area that you're going to do for a client. Like whatever it is, you already do these things in your life.
Mm.
Any of the domestic partners. There you go. That's a better way of referring to the housebound other half of the trade business, whether you're a man, woman, or a goat. I don't care. If you ever cooked anything in the kitchen following a recipe, same thing.
Yeah.
It's a script. It's a process. So we do these things every day in our lives and in our jobs. And so to say that you're just not cut out for something, that's a really shit excuse for just not being willing to make a change to how you're doing it currently.
Well, you weren't cut out to be a tradie until you did your apprenticeship.
No, none of us are cut out to be anything. We're all born the same way with zero predetermined capacity for anything. Some of us never actually realise any more than that.
There's a whole nother podcast.
I'm a little ranty, listeners, because I'm sick of hearing it, because I know I'm going to hear this over and over from people for as long as I choose to stay in this game, and that is looking like a very long time because I'm just not cut out to do anything else, Coxie.
Oh, come on, Warwick.
But it is something that I hear people say, and it's like, oh, dude, or love. I don't like love.
Don't call ladies love. That's terrible.
What's the opposing gender to dude? Oh, dude.
If it's coming from another chick, it's babe. Babe.
I can't.
Yeah, no.
I can't say babe. That's what I call my wife.
It's all right.
She'll
I couldn't call anyone babe either.
I see it online. It's like, ooh, I don't even feel comfortable reading that.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is. Safe to say that's a generational thing, and I'm not really sure where we're at with that one.
Dude, lady, help me out, listeners. Give me some feedback. What should I be saying? Anyway, I've lost my train of thought now. Coxie, please rescue me.
I'm going to rescue you by throwing you a great big ring, life rafty ring thing that you throw into the water with a string.
Yeah,
I'm buying you some time to get you thinking back on track because you
lost
ring on
a string. Okay.
Ring on a string. You were talking about how essential it is to do your stuff that you're already doing anyway in a better way. And we've given you the whole blueprint, the scripts, the templates, the everything on how to do it in a better way to get consistent, deliverable results. Stop making excuses and just do it. I think you were calling BS. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on the I'm just not cut out to be. I know I took this in a different direction to our episode plan, Coxie, but that's generally what we do.
And that's different to every other day. How?
And you know what? That's another point here is people get all bent out of shape because, but we're not following the plan. It's like, but that's life.
Mm.
The fact that you had a plan means that you started in a direction and you started things moving and then you adapt as you go. Have a look at the Rona.
Oh, yeah.
How many people have had to adjust their life and business plans in the last few months? So, Coxie, I'll cut you off.
That's okay. I can't see your face. It makes it really hard for me to know when you're about to talk.
So, I don't know. All right. So, no more bullshit, listeners. None of this crap about I'm not cut out to be in the office or I'm just no good with numbers, blah, blah, blah. You're already good with all that stuff. You do it every day in your trade or in your domestic goddess duties, if that's your role in the team. You're following systems, you're doing things the same way every day, you're meeting deadlines, like you've got the skill set. It's just applying it to a different context. That's what it comes down to. Is that easy? No. It's hard as heck. And it's completely achievable. And so what Coxie really wanted to say today was don't let the relaxing restrictions fool you into dropping the ball in that regard. And I suppose that's where this really needs to circle back to, Nicole, is don't go back to all the old ways. Don't drop the ball on the changes you've already made. And we've seen some people make some amazing changes in the last 2 or 3 months in their businesses especially. And it would be really, really gutting, catastrophic, maybe not catastrophic. It would be really sad to see you drop those things and just slip back into old habits that maybe weren't serving you as well.
So does that mean we won't ever drop the daily podcast?
No, because I don't think I have enough coffee in the house to do this every day for the next 10 or 20 years, Coxie.
Gosh, will people still be listening to podcasts then? Or do you think we'll just have a chip in our brain and you and I turn up in front of their eyes at whatever time of day they choose and we'll tell them whatever we're saying?
We don't actually have to pick up a device. It just plays in your head. You just think it. Just think about Woz and Nick. And on comes episode 3428 of the Tradies in Business Daily TradieCast.
We'll be very
old. Just drop
by
the
then.
Rona bit. Hopefully we can drop the Rona bit at some stage.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to waving goodbye to the Rona.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching everybody keep the balls tightly tucked up under their arms rather than dropping them.
Are you talking about the football or something
I was
else?
talking about the football. Good Lord.
Oh, dear. So what do you reckon, listeners? Have you ever done that? Are you guilty of that? Drop us a comment on our Facebook page and let us know when you listen to this episode. Have you BS'd a little bit? Have you bullshitted and said you're just no good with numbers or scripts? The scripts are no good. They take the humanity out of the process. Let us know. Is that
Please.
You? Yeah. And if it is, maybe we can help. That's why we want to know this stuff. Not so we can embarrass you in front of your mates.
Oh, no, we would never do that. We're not those kind of people.
No.
Unless you come to Friday afternoon drinks, and we potentially could be.
Well, Friday afternoon drinks is pretty much when I turn up just to take the piss out of Wozfest.
Yeah, it really is.
I bet you missed me on Friday.
Oh, no, I didn't because we still took the shit out of you. You weren't there.
You just did it behind my back. That's gold. Thank you.
Oh, no, I'll tell you everything.
Yeah, thanks. Can you record those, please, so I can keep tabs on who I need to target online?
I will point them out to you.
That's awesome. Well, I'm happy to be the butt of everybody's jokes if it makes them feel better about themselves, Coxie.
Good.
Thanks for listening, listeners, because that's what you are, you're listeners. But you don't have to stay listeners. You can actually be a part of our community in a bigger way if you want to play a bigger game. Yeah, or we could be friends, Coxie. I'd like some friends.
Can we just start by being
I might have to do a cert for in how to have friends or how to keep friends.
Well, you've got lots of friends. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's another episode. So, so if you want to get involved in a bigger way, jump on Facebook. You can comment on the page there. You could join the group for free. You just got to be a trade business owner. We'll let you straight in there. What are we up to now? Like 1,600 trade business owners?
There'd be a lot more if everybody just answered the questions so I can qualify you. But if you don't answer the questions and I can't qualify you, you don't get to join, unfortunately for you, because that is where the gold is. We have a lot of fun in the group.
Jump in the group. There's some special stuff that goes on in there. And then you can find out all about us on the website, of course. So be part of the conversation, listeners. Don't hang back. We love to hear from you. And apart from that,
have a ripping Wednesday.
Yeah, have a fantastic hump day. Hooroo.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.